Hi everyone, I'm Ashley Miller and I'm here at the Internet 2.0 conference and I have the pleasure of speaking with the award winner. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your organization?
Hi, Ashley. I'm Nadine Cino. I am the CEO and co-inventor of TygaSmart. And TygaSmart is on a mission. I just want to say that we're about making reuse a daily habit for companies and people to help them save time and money, as well as conserve planetary resources. That's why we're here.
Amazing. So, as far as conserving planetary resources, can you please elaborate for individuals that may not understand what that means?
Sure. I mean, we've got one planet, and there is no planet B. And as we continue to overconsume, we're overconsuming the planet as well. And so, our technology is a very simple tracking technology. You can put a little tracking tag on anything you want to keep track of. And what we found, for example, is that on average, people use their clothing, accepting underwear and t-shirts, they use them on average 7 times before they throw them out.
Oh, wow.
Now, can you imagine if we got people to use their clothes 15 times or 30 times, how much we could conserve of planetary resources? Because we're not making new fabrics and we're not making new dyes and we're not putting downstream pollution into the earth, and we're saving the necessary planetary resources for future generations in a very mindful way. And by the way, we're learning to appreciate what we have instead of wanting more all the time. That's what we're about.
Amazing. So, Nadine, what inspired you to create a company based on conserving planetary resources and taking a different approach in doing so?
Well, thank you for that question, Ashley. Before you were ever conceived, I was in a completely different business. I was in the apparel industry, so I know about the apparel industry. And I had a project that I was working on for J.C. Penney. At that time, I was designing their USA Olympic t-shirts. And one day I had to move my design studio from point A to point B, and I got everything I deserved when I hired the low price mover. And that mover held all of my design studio stuff hostage in a truck and insisted that we pay thousands of dollars above the budget before they would even release my designs for my client back to me. Now, seriously,
Wow.
I am half Cuban and half Italian. You know how a Latina can just get into a rant faster than a Ferrari gets to 60.
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is 1991. There was no municipal recycling in place anywhere in America, and certainly not in New York City. And so I went to the incinerator the very next day with thousands of dollars of cardboard boxes, and I burned them. I felt like a tree cremator. I felt dirty and disgusting. And I go into a Latina rant about how somebody ought to have a business that would rent a reusable plastic box as an ecological alternative to cardboard.
Wow.
And that night, the love of my life, my husband and business partner, we decided instead of 10 years into the future when somebody else does that, and we could do the woulda, coulda, shoulda look, right? That somebody would be us. So we embarked. We almost went bankrupt. All the rest of the entrepreneurial stories all crammed into one. But here's what we know. 31 years ago, when we invented this one box, a plastic reusable box, to replace cardboard, you wouldn't believe it. And this is only for office moving. That niche market has resulted in, 30 years later, eliminating 3.5 billion billion pounds of cardboard from landfill
That is amazing.
and saved 53 million trees, which in America is about 2 or 3 small national forests.
Amazing.
I mean, it's staggering. So we know how important it is to reuse, and we believe that reuse is to the planet as compound interest is to a banker. And we have the stats to prove it. We're no longer having a hypothesis around reuse. We know it works, and it works exponentially. And that's why we're on a mission to make reuse a daily habit.
And that's amazing. So for individuals like yourself that care about the planet's resources and are inspired by your journey and the message that you send, what are some words of encouragement that you would provide to those individuals?
Wow. Follow your passion. When you're assessing what is your life really all about, what is your purpose here in the world, follow your passion, treat people with respect, and make that difference that you were already brought into this world to make.
I love that. And with that being said, and making a difference, you're already changing and being impactful, and you're switching up the dynamic in how you handle business, changing how resources are seen and how they're being used. And you now have won an award. You're being recognized here at the Internet 2.0 conference. How has your overall experience been, and what has networking been like for you?
Oh my gosh. Ashley, I can't even tell you what a complete amazing surprise this was. I had no expectation that I would meet the caliber of intellect and creativity, commitment and passion by so many business leaders and startups and visionaries that you have brought together here. And not just in terms of technology, marketing, medicine, education. I mean, it's just such a, how do I want to say it? It's like a concentration of bursting fertile thought.
I love that.
And the networking has been absolutely the most fun I've had in a long time.
I think you might have been the first person to say that the networking's been fun, but it's all still the same message, and I love how you describe that. So with that being said, for the virtual audience watching, how can they connect with you online?
Okay, so if you ever wanted to reach me, I'm Nadine, Nadine, at TygaSmart, and the spelling is TygaSmart.com. And that would probably work.
Hey.
You know, I mean, we've got a little barcode, not a barcode, a QR code. We've got QR codes and everything like that. But it would be an honor and a pleasure. And I have a challenge. I'd like to put to all of you. Imagine if we collectively were to reuse our stuff in a way where we reduced the unnecessary consumption of planetary resources by as little as 1%. What do you think that would look like? Water, trees.
So instead of using the plastic water bottles, maybe a reusable water bottle?
Oh, that's one way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
one of
now
many.
I know how I can contribute.
And what I can also say is start keeping track of your behavior, whether you use a tracking system with real tags or you're writing a journal, and start being a little more intentional about what you're buying, how you're using it. And if you're really tired of wearing that red shirt, see if you can donate it or give it to a friend, but give it a useful life so that we stop causing all this unnecessary consumption of planetary resources.
I love that. And on that note, we're going to call it, guys. This has been a very eye-opening, a very conscious and intentional conversation. Once again, congratulations, and it's been a pleasure.
Real pleasure.